Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu, waifu. Ma, tell him. Is that you?
Oh, we at the end of the season.
This is episode 307 of Mic Check, Waifu, Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check, Waifu, Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. It's where you can get access to pre-show. It goes live for everybody 2 days before this episode goes live. Thank you to the Patreon producer, Dad Needs to Talk podcast, Christian, the archivist, Fear, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture podcast, Explicitly, All for One Matt, Matthew, H, Monique Williams, Semi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last, but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. Make sure if you're listening to us on all podcasting services, you rate us 5 stars and leave a nice review. We would appreciate that. Whether if it's Apple or Spotify, just leave those 5 stars. Couldn't do the show without that as well. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@MicCheckWaifuWaifu, and watch the video versions of the podcast. Subscribe, leave comments, etc. All that good stuff. Thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate you. Mic Check Waifu Waifu is the anime podcast that brings you seasonal topic discussion every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. Now, we are going to be talking about the finale of the spring season, giving our deep thoughts on some stuff. Spoiler free, of course, but deep thoughts on some shows, as well as some context for some other things this week. And as we always do, Tell, what is your episode of the week?
Now, Polo, I know you have access to the notes. I know you can probably see it, but I'm going to say this heavy.
Time. Okay.
Apothe, heavy on the MF, super heavy on the Cary.
Mm-hmm.
Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, good choice.
That was episode of the year.
that episode was brilliant. I think I don't know if next week is like it looked like from the the recap of the next episode.
Recap-ish.
Yeah, it looked like it was a recap, but I don't want to. I don't want to assume, so I'll wait till that drops to determine on if that's the end or not. But yeah, man, what an incredible episode that was. And for me, I don't really have many options, unfortunately, because it wasn't too many shows I finished. But I'll give it to Kowloon. Yeah, I'll give it to Kowloon. Why not? Right? It was a pretty decent end. It kind of felt a little flat. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it was decent. And plus, it was only 2 other shows that finished that. Could have got it. I guess Ahirin-san season 2 wrapped up too. I could have gave it to that, but we'll go with Kowloon. It was a decent watch.
Yeah.
All right.
Kowloon. I don't know. I thought it was a little bit more than a decent watch, but I do think that, like you said, there's some points where it fell flat. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's talk about it now.
Okay, let's talk about it now. So your overall thoughts on Kowloon, right? Because my overall thoughts is that as a series, it was interesting, but I do think that there were highs and lows where, like you said, it did fall flat on some things. Yeah, especially on like the Gene Terra thing. Mm-hmm. It was almost like this focal point that never got focused on.
There were so many focal points that just kind of like it started on a roller coaster that went uphill that never fell down. And then when it fell down, because when you get the whole spin of the story, it's like yeah, but and it's a lot of questions, and I think it goes to what TCB mentioned in the form of the show. I think it has a live action that goes with it, that is that you're supposed to watch with it. Obviously, that we can't. I don't know where it is or where to find it or how to find it, but maybe that'll fill in some of the gaps that are just missing. There's just missing plot pieces that are within the show that just fell completely flat. I mean, they try to wrap up as much as they can as far as like the business side of things. It kind of just like sped through that as well. It was just like it was just like a lot of missed opportunities and missing pieces that felt off.
Well, and what sucked is that even with the title, I feel like it was, for a lot of it, there was so many things that were not generic about it. And then it did have that very generic, like you said, speed through at the end. They just tied up all the ends, or tied up whatever ends they thought were necessary to leave you with this like sense of mystery, but almost like unfulfilled sense of mystery.
Yeah.
It did kind of leave a bad taste in my mouth. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
And the parts I enjoyed mostly was like her like awakening to her true self finally, so to speak, the unveiling of what Kowloon looks like, and seeing that like this is what it really is.
Yeah, we don't gotta go too deep into it.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. But there were points of it that were, I was like, okay, I really enjoyed this, but in very Hunter-esque fashion, it was just moments.
Yeah. Good point. And then let's slide into my thoughts on something I mentioned in the in the Discord.mycheckwifewaifu. Make sure you join to be a part of the conversation too. I mentioned that this episode of To Be Hero X was the very first bad episode they had, in my opinion. Now, the reason why I say that, I mean, it should be obvious, but it not only did it, and TCB had to remind me of this, but not only did it not continue the cliffhanger that they left on with the Queen storyline, which I totally forgot about until he mentioned it. But this episode in particular, let's talk specifically this episode, not of the show in its entirety, because we know how the show in its entirety go. But this episode in particular, individually, and then in the tie-ins to everything else, but let me talk individual first. It was a piss poor plot of an episode. And I say that because the main topic of discussion was the problem or the issue of this particular episode was being too cute to do things. And that just felt so just gross. And then when you factor it into this show in its entirety, where you look at the previous stories and what you hope the future stories was to be, it don't fit, because every hero in this show had a purposeful meaning, a real meaning that is ingratiated within their heart and their trust system and this and that, all for it to be this episode to be about being too cute. And that shit was like, what the fuck are we even doing? Like, why would you even go from what we just went through, especially at the end of the Queen storyline with that cliffhanger, to I'm going to hire you. You're too cute. We're going to hire you to be a fucking secretary. I knocked my camera loose. But like, come on, man. It just didn't work for me. And then the girl taking her father's, this is spoilers for this episode, but taking her father's equipment and building her own stuff to make herself capable to be a hero. But she's too concerned about people thinking she's cute. Like, it didn't feel like To Be Hero X at all. So
with the development of this show, right? And this is where like I agree with some of what Polo was saying. Like, I agree specifically with like her getting his equipment and building the suits and stuff like that. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I get it. That's your way of not being perceived as too cute or whatever. But I do think that the aspect of being too cute to be a hero,
it's not even it's not even the aspect of it. It's just in life, apparently, is what they're trying to show. Because with the girl that was hired as a secretary.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, like, obviously they're playing into the life aspect of it, right? But we also know that this is a world where people believe in something in you. That's what you become, and that's what you stay. So I'm looking at it as they see her as too cute to be a hero. She can't save anybody. She can't use this perceived cuteness as a strength, and what she overall wants to be perceived as is strong. And I think that the introduction of it was poor, especially in comparison to everything else that they did. But I think that it definitely ties into the aspect of the world because, like I said, we saw with the Stan dude, he couldn't even bend his legs because the world believed that he could not take a knee, he could not fall down, he had to stand through everything. If people are too cute to be perceived as anything else, what does that mean? Does that mean you actually lose physical strength? Does that mean that your ability becomes I'm cute and you have to turn away from me?
And that's my problem with it, because it doesn't feel like the show in that aspect. Because if that was the case, then that's what they should have showcased, right? Like she was too cute to stop the villain or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was just like this normal girl perceived to, she's just, oh, you're just so cute. I have a crush on you. Like, it's showing that her power is to win people to her side by being extremely cute. That's all it showed. It didn't show any of what you're talking. What you're talking about is assumptions. It's a very intelligent way of assuming of what this show is and can be. But thinking about it in an individual, like the way the show is individually, like this episode individually, I mean, there wasn't a good episode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not, and like I said, I'm not saying necessarily that the episode was good because I'm not even gonna say it's bad because in my opinion, I don't think it was necessarily bad. I just think for To Be Hero X, it was bad.
Yeah, that's what me and TCB was talking about.
Yeah, I think that for a show that has been giving us high 8, high 9, damn near or 10 episodes,
100%.
Yeah, this is a bad episode, but it'd still be better than some. But the point I'm trying to make is that there are anime that have presented, for me, in my opinion, worst episodes, but made them feel much more impactful through relevancy through the story. And I do believe that, and like we have some faith. I was looking at your comments. I think there's an instilled faith that this will swing in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where I was getting to next, but I'll let you take that. No,
go ahead, because I agree with that. I do think that there's an instilled faith that we're gonna see a switch, but like
even this episode ended poorly. I just wanted to make sure I finished that off too, like with this whole disco explode. Like none of this shit is going on makes any lick of sense. And that's where I was going to transition to the fact that the faith that I have in this show, I don't think there's no chance in hell I think this falls off, or even with this show being, I will call it, personal opinion, about a 6.5 of an episode. Even if that's the episode, I think the rest of the series can still easily be a 10 because of the fact that they earned the trust of me to feel like that my faith within them tying it all together, bringing it all together as far as like how it's going to come together with the ending of the Queen episode last week, or TCB mentioned the Johnnies and like all the stuff that is going to wrap these characters together in this one overarching story. I have 100% complete faith that it will be fantastic. And I'm looking forward to that more than anything, but I cannot not mention the fact that a show that's been, honestly, I don't even think there's been an 8 episode to me personally. It's all been 9s and 10s until this point. I think it won't last this episode. But I gotta mention that it had one quote unquote bad episode, even though I think it's like a D plus.
Yeah,
it's just what we do.
I'll also say I don't even think the ending felt out of place. I felt like they demonstrated that in the beginning, and I'm only saying this. Yeah. This is like it, like you said, this is also me assuming,
of course,
and putting pieces together in my head. I'm like, okay, this character came back for exactly the reason that they were kind of like demonstrating, and I'm like, okay, so I kind of foresee the reason that this character is coming back, but I'm not sure, obviously, until we get. So, like you said, gut check.
Yeah,
I can only assume why they brought this character back,
which would make sense, and it could be dope, which I have faith that it will be. It's just, again, as an individual episode, starting off with him and then going into this and then having it go like it did. It just didn't feel 2B Hero XE individually. But again, as an overarching, like, they can fucking have an episode with somebody making a sandwich the entire episode, and I bet you they tie it into the story properly. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Sandwich, they ain't even cooking, but it's cooking.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too worried about it. But I gotta mention it because that's just what I do. I gotta be honest with myself, you know. And then let's talk about your sleeper this season, which was a Netflix show, which was hard for me to finish. Right,
I imagine,
and I would say rightfully so.
Yeah. Hear me out. And I'm gonna start with this before you go.
This is Moonrise, by the way.
This is Moonrise. You can hit the antagonist button for 10 seconds.
Yeah. That's the wrong one.
Moonrise was a better presented Lazarus. It, for me, I had to rewatch some of the episodes. I went back and said, when did it get bad? And it was around for me like episode 9 and 10-ish, where I was just like, the plot is just missed. They lost. They completely diverged, completely went a whole other route. And the whole other route didn't necessarily have to be bad, bro. It didn't have to be bad. It's almost like they chose for it to be bad. Like, it was like, you know how like you're playing Baldur's Gate and it's like you go left or right, and they went left, and it was like, okay, let's go even more left. It was horrible. And it's sad because the story has already been told. Like, this, I don't even mind like the politics of the things, but it was just like, some of it was just like, it was so drowned out and so missing the point, and didn't have any contingency for what it had in like terms of shortcomings. Then you throw in this new, and I'm not gonna say new, but you threw in this so-called villain, the that's been here the entire time, but Sapientia the entire time, but presenting it in a way in which like this newly formed unified front within the last like episode and a half, that just, or not even episode and a half, it literally was like the last episode of this officially formed unified front against this figure. And it's like, bro, take the show back. Just start back from episode 10 and let's rewrite it. Let's just start over, because it sounds good, it looks good. It was, and I'm gonna say the best pacing part of it was probably from episode 1 to 6, and then between 6 to 10, it started to fall off a little bit. I was like, okay, where are we going? And I was like, but I can see where we're going. And then from that point on, it was like a drag race to a dumpster fire. I don't know what they thought they were going to deliver in this show. It just wasn't delivered for me.
Yeah, 1 through 6, I was enjoying it a lot. I'm like, I'm loving this whole mystery aspect of it. I love where it's going. I see it. I can see it. I can see this fight. 2 people fighting for 2 things that is right, but yet wrong. It's a perfect story. It's a great story. All for it to be ran, like you said, into the fucking dirt, bro, into moon dust. It just, I don't know why they decided to go this route, or they could have went this route in a transition between the actual evil. Could have been so much cleaner. Like, yes, having it, call it the Illuminati. Having the Illuminati, their reasoning was great. Even like their overarching reason for what they were doing was great, and it made sense until it didn't. And it's like, why would you do that instead of doing this? It would just, it spent completely wrong. And then, like you said, wait until the last episode to do what they did as far as the coming together point of all of it was awful. Like, it could have spent so much cleaner. Like, it could have been moral dilemmas and moral fights within each other and within certain characters and seeing something. And they showed that the second to last episode. I'm like, oh, this moral fight could have happened way sooner, and then they could have then talked about what was really going on. And when they did that, it could have been a whole story versus this and versus that, and then the robot, and it could have been so much better. It's a better Lazarus. This is way better than Lazarus for sure because it lasted 6 at least, but it's spent bad. Sad though, because it was like it's so close. And all of it has the ingredients of a great series.
Yeah, bro.
Every piece of ingredient that's in it is good, except it wasn't executed well at all.
I feel like, and granted, it is because it looks like Full Metal Alchemist. I feel like it took aspects from Full Metal Alchemist, but made them worse. And I mean specifically like the political aspects of it. Like I said, I don't mind the political aspects in my anime, but the way that they did it in this,
I'm just thinking about it.
I almost said I don't even care what side.
It's so
I don't
dumb.
care. Y'all need to pick a side and blow it up.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
I don't even care anymore.
Like
it's like
there was absolutely no reason. I can't say it because it's a big spoiler, actually.
Yeah, but
it's actually, I'm gonna just say it was absolutely no reason for the general. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, bro.
Like, what the fuck for? Like, it's just. It's
where did you even? What? How did you even get established in this?
Mm-hmm.
And then it also the last, and that's what sucks, right? Like you said, the first 6 episodes to me was so solid.
Yeah.
But it almost even feels like the last 6 episodes almost invalidated that first 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last 8 episodes said what happened to those first 6. The last 10 episodes, it erased what was good in that beginning.
Yeah.
And the transition to that point, like I said, while the transition between like let's say episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10 were like okay, that pocket of bad was so bad, bro.
Yeah, it was awful. Oh, I fear if you, since we finally finished it, let us know what you actually thought about it, because I know you watched it too. But he watched it way sooner than we did, because again, all the episodes are out on Netflix day one. So
I'm pretty sure Fear felt the same way we did.
Yeah, it was just all off. It was just all the way off. All right.
Yeah, the moon is falling. I fear.
Now I'll tell. I was about to watch. Let me just tell you a story. A quick story. I went to start Lord of Mysteries. Okay, I'm excited to start it because I'm excited to see how good it looks and et cetera, et cetera. And then I realized that there was no Japanese sub, or there was no English dub. And I started it, and then when they started talking, I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. And the reason why I can't do it, and it's a personal thing. Again, I said this in Discord, but don't tell my wife. When it's Mandarin, because my wife is Taiwanese and obviously she speaks Mandarin. When it's Mandarin, I can't focus. I just could not focus on anything that they were saying. For some reason, I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or whatever the case may be, but I'm like watching it, I'm reading it, and as they talking, everything I read gone. It's like I didn't even read it. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. So I turned it off. I'm like, you know what? This time I'm going to be patient for this one, because I want to give this a real chance, because if I try to watch it with the subtitles, I'm going to not pay attention, and it's just going to be a mess. So I'm going to give it a fair try when they have like a dubbed or a Japanese sub or something, anything else that I can watch, so where I can actually it can keep my attention. So personally right now, I don't know anything about it. I've seen the first maybe minute and a half of it, and that's it. Like, I know nothing else. So what are your thoughts on it?
All right, let's start with the good. This show is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking about how well Arcane was edited. And you know how Arcane it was kind of sick. Like, I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Uncanny Valley.
There's no way. This show is so smooth, it almost feels like you're getting sick watching it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like it literally, you're watching, you're like, God, the pages flow like that. I don't even know if pages flow that smooth in real life.
In real life, right?
It looked so good, bro. It looked so good that it felt like I was watching a dream. Which, like I said, is not bad. It looked astonishing. Fog moving, Every motion in it felt crazy. I'll almost say the visuals of it was almost to its detriment.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's literally a 12
mean.
out of 10. It's a 12 out of 10 in terms of appeal. But I actually had to like go back and rewatch episode 2.
Mm-hmm. I've been hearing that a lot.
I even rewound episode 1 a couple times because I'm literally just looking at details. I'm not even looking at the words, bro. The subtitles. Like, if this is one, I understand why you have to watch it dubbed.
Yeah,
I understand because it's so engaging visually.
And in Mandarin, it's fast too.
The reading ain't the issue, bro.
Yeah.
It's not the issue that it's not like I can't read it and keep up. That's not the issue. The issue is that it's so visually engaging. Why would I want to look at them little yellow subtitles, bro?
Right. Yeah.
Why would I even want to look at that?
Mm-hmm.
It literally is beautiful, and it sounds good too. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds good. I don't think, and this could be because I am not as used to the Mandarin as I am to Japanese. The voice acting, it doesn't sound as convincing.
Yeah.
And that could be because, like I said, I'm not used to the Mandarin as much as I am the Japanese, right? Like, I've engaged Japanese more in terms of like what it sounds like emotionally.
Right.
So for me, that's easier to comprehend.
I've been learning Mandarin thanks to my wife, and it's because it's a tonal language. So because it's a tonal language, is if you fluctuate certain sounds differently, it can mean something completely different, which throws off, I think, Dom was a lot. Honestly, like when you're watching it, it's hard to catch the emotion because of the inflections in the words. Everything just sounds like different tonal shifts, and it falls flat, in my opinion. You know, that's probably why it's hard for me to watch it too.
Well, yeah, and I get that, and like
falls flat.
I'll say one of my favorite movies of all time, Jet Li's Fearless. I watch it in Mandarin, and it's fine. That movie is fine for me, and it could just be because they're people, and that's why I feel like I'm not sure if the voice acting here is actually good.
Yeah,
but everything else sounds great
because they can emote better too. They're people.
Yeah, because like you said, they're real people. But with it being a tonal language, you need the facial recognition to almost match that tonal shift.
Yep.
Now into the story. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have, and I'm obviously not going to spoil it here because Polo hasn't necessarily watched it yet. But first episode, let me actually pull up the character here because I don't want to butcher.
Oh, you gonna butcher it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I know I am. That ain't the issue. I know I'm a butcher. No,
they got normal names.
What is it called again? Lord of Mysteries.
Mm-hmm. So Klein, Alger, Dunn. Yeah, because it's Victorian London. Yeah, these are all.
Yeah. So
UK ass names.
No
offense, Robsto.
The way they transition into how we're getting to introduce some of these characters, the way that it's moving into this situationship that we have with these characters, the reasoning for a lot of it isn't really introduced in the first episode. It just kind of moves. You just kind of slide. And you get thrown and thrusted into this situation where you're at a table and it looks dope. It looks amazing. And you're looking at these characters and you're like, okay, so
I can't wait.
He's the fool. She's this, he's that. And they're introducing, and he has this ungodly power to do this, right? But what I do like and what I don't like is that the character seems like he doesn't know what's going on and he's just trying to pretend like he does, so he doesn't come across as powerless, even though he just did this almighty powerful thing.
You talking about Klein?
Yes.
Okay.
Klein did this almighty, all-powerful thing, but doesn't want to come across in this conversation as powerless or knowledgeless because he doesn't actually know how or what his power did or how he even got here.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes me want to read it.
Yeah. I actually feel like that would be vastly amazing. I think we should probably actually. But we get that, and we end the episode basically kind of after this conversation, which like I said, it was really cool. Episode 2, we kind of get how he got to this point.
So can I interrupt just to say, because I don't want you to go into and spoil anything.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah. But what do you feel about it? Like emotionally feel when you're watching it?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's the issue.
See, that's what I was
it's like
concerned
it feels disjointed. It feels all over the place. It feels like it's jumping here and jumping here and jumping here and jumping here. And I had to rewatch episode 2 because I wasn't sure if I was tripping.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was just tripping.
Right.
And it's not that it's bad. It just, I don't trust it because it's like the introductions and how things happen. When you end up watching it, you'll understand entirely, because it's like we got to this point where this psychic thing happened, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then like a minute into, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's what's going on. And then it continues to happen, and then boom, they reveal that exactly what I said in my head is going on is what's going on. I'm like,
I'm on the side of the internet right now where everybody's talking about this show, like everybody. So yeah, and I'm thankfully I haven't been blown back by any spoilers, but everybody's saying they feel confused. They feel like even people I know who has like, oh, this is about to sound like, I hate sounding egotistical, but they have like anime comprehension levels of like that we do, that I trust, saying like it right now, it just doesn't make any sense. And that's why when I ask you, like, how did you feel about it emotionally, to know that you feel the same way says a lot, because that mean it's kind of giving Junie Tyson vibes at this beginning, just to kind of like throw you off the scent a little bit. But also there was another person that said that there was a lot of missing context in this episode and mistranslation from Crunchyroll in the Mandarin that made it fucked up. They completely fucked up the story. And that's all I know. I don't know nothing about the story. I just know that the translations, the Chinese was fucked up. I can even ask my wife when she watches it too, what she thinks about what they're saying versus what she's reading. And then that it's missing a lot of context. So that's why I'm like, yeah, maybe we should just read it. But like, I always like, we should watch it first, right? Like,
yeah, and that's the crazy part. It looks so fucking good. Yeah. It looks crazy. Yeah. But I almost feel like I should just turn the subtitles off, get whatever's on the screen off the screen, and just watch it. Don't even understand it. I'll probably understand it better. I'll probably get a better grasp for it, because it flows so well. I'm watching, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I do genuinely feel like if I just took the subtitles off, I might understand it better. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm following the words, and the words, like you said, they're not matching what they're saying. But I felt like the words weren't off. I just thought like it was something else that wasn't connecting. And if the internet is saying that it's not me and it's everybody who isn't connecting with it for some reason, yes, I get it. But I almost felt like it was intentionally just being mysterious. And I mean, like, not in a good way, but like they didn't know how to deliver their mystery properly.
Which you could tell the difference. Anybody that can like watch mystery shows can tell the difference between poor deliveries of your mystery and a good mystery being mysterious.
I mean, literally Apothecary Diaries,
yes,
bro. Yes. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wanted to slide Apothecary Diaries into the conversation of best of all time.
Yeah,
but
easy.
We talking about Lord of Mysteries right now.
You can. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, I understand. But I'm gonna just say this: Lord of Mysteries is a little too mysterious. Yeah. And it's not in a good way. I heard
things like they have one of the best power systems ever. It's like it's supposed to be this seriously intense, amazing show. So we got to give it a better shot. or they got to give it a better shot. Not even necessarily us.
I'm about to go and rewatch it again tonight as soon as we're done recording. I'm turning it back on, and I'm gonna watch it and just see if I just wasn't comprehending it right. Because like I said, I rewound episode 1 and I rewatched the entirety of episode 2.
Yeah, that's why I asked how you felt watching it, because everybody felt that exact same way. And it's, again, people I trust, people I know that can take anime with a critical eye and look at it properly and not just, bullshit around about visuals. And then for you to say the exact same thing they did, and you're the person I trust the most, then yeah, it's not you, it's the show.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's so wild to hear that. That is very interesting. I'm looking forward to it though. I should try to push through, but I just couldn't, man. I'm like, I can't. I don't think I could.
Nah, I do have a side question for you, bro.
What's up?
Did you pick up that manga?
Not yet. Persona took over my life.
I understand. I was a little joint crazy a little bit.
We need to go ahead and read that and talk about it.
Oh man, we might throw that in a little side story.
Yeah. So I also got a comment from Rob Stone that was hilarious. I laughed out loud reading it, so I'm going to read it here. Right. It was on last week's show. So last week we wrapped up this season for the most part for most of the shows, and we talked about one of our favorite hate shows that we watched was Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive 2? He says, "Hey, I watched Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive 2?" He said, "I was hoping it was going to end with a horrible soldering accident." That right there was alone. Hoping it ended in the soldering accident is hilarious. But I digress. He says, I think my ratings broadly stuck with what they were during the mid-season. He says the top tier shows were 2B Hero X, Apothecary, Diaries, Windbreaker, My Hero Vigilantes. Surprisingly, it just kept getting better, and it was much cleaner than My Hero by keeping it small scale. And he said good shows. Old Country Bumpkin is getting a season 2. Great news. Apocalypse Hotel, Sword of the Demon Hunter, and he says this will rise if it gets more seasons. Yeah, it's 24 episodes, so we got a while with that, Rob Stone. And then he says Two Perfect Saint is a part of his good shows. Then he says upper mid shows, Kowloon, the mystery dropped off for me after the midpoint, which we agree with that. Sweden Family, it didn't crash like I thought it would. Yeah. And then he says Gundam, that Gundam QQQ show, and then Intergalactic Empire, which I found to be a very great mid show too. Lower mid shows, Witch Watch, my most anticipated, and it's such a shame that it didn't translate from the pages as well at all, which I'm glad to know that. Me and Till made the right decision by not keeping with that. And he says bad shows, The Boy Girl Friendship. And he said check his last one. His last one is Lazarus Tier. He says Lazarus to be left in the pit for eternity, the beginning after the end, the one to be digging that pit for eternity, one still frame at a time. Tell, I swear when I read that I cried laughing. I laughed so hard. He said Lazarus Tier, Lazarus, and they put in parentheses to be left in the pit of eternity. And then he said after the end, the one digging the pit for eternity, one still frame at a time.
You know what's crazy about Lazarus?
What?
The name is supposed to represent coming back from death.
That's what's hilarious about it.
He said, "No, bury that boy.
Oh my God!
Keep digging your way down because you would not."
That's why it was so funny.
That's crazy. I love that comment.
Oh my God, I cried reading that, man. I'm like, nah, there's no way I'm not reading that on the show.
That's a top tier comment right there.
That is
we about to slide Moonrise right there.
Yeah, Moonrise belong in that tier too.
There's no Lazarus and Moonrise. I'm so sorry that we had to even watch that.
Yeah, nah, for real. Like something about what Moonrise did though was like, because it was like on the cusp of being great. Like, just on the cusp, man. Like, it could have been so good.
Hop right over the edge. Was like, nah, I'm trash, my guy.
Oh my goodness. We got anything else? And finished? I don't know.
What's that? The Once Upon a Witch's Death?
Yes, please. You can spoil this one. Spoilers for Once Upon a Time a Witch's Death.
Lazarus Tier.
Is Lazarus Tier?
Brother.
That's real bad. I thought it would at least have been upper mid.
No. I hate that show.
What happened?
I feel less connected to that show than I feel with X-Arm.
Was I right with my guess way back in the day when it first started? What
was your guess?
The old witch was sending her out to train to replace her. Is that
basically
like the moral of the story?
I don't even know. I wish that it had ended. I wish that it ended in this season. It ended in a way in which we're going to get a second season. Basically, we got through like a little over 6 months. She had a year to live. We got a little over 6 months in this. She essentially collects like 60 tears. She needs more so that she doesn't die from this curse, and 10 of her tears are impure, so she got to get 10 at least pure tears. She comes across a bunch of other witches that are just better characters than her. There's one witch who's like 100+ years old but looks like she's 20, a significantly better character than her. She finally gets recognized as the Witch of Lapis, and she brings smiles to people, etc., etc. She is not a good character though. She's perverted the whole time.
I'm expecting that.
Like she is super. She's claiming these other witches as her wives, like not actual wives, but like there's this one young witch who they're both young, but like she's calling this witch her wife, and they're like kids, and she keeps doing flirtatious stuff. And it is weird.
It's strange because that wasn't in the first episode like at all.
Yeah, that was like episode 4, 5, I think. But essentially we get to the end and she is coming to terms with, like, she's finding out about her past, and she meets the previous apprentice to her, and we're kind of getting the glimpse that the previous apprentice caused this great calamity, and she's the witch of disaster, and it caused her parents to die, so that's how she got adopted by the witch she's with. And then this is just spoilers, and I'm not even sure if this is exactly what it is, but the witch of disaster, who is her sister apprentice, the older apprentice, tells her that earlier in the season that a great calamity is going to come when you die. You're going to lose something important to you when you get this curse off of you. And it immediately shifts to a scene of the old lady who's teaching her. So what you're saying seems to be true. Like she's cursed, and to me it seems like the curse was given to her by the old lady because the old lady want to die. And this is just me making up stuff. I'm not sure. But it feels like, and this might even be better than what they write because I have no idea because the show has been garbage the entire time. I'm sorry. I hate this show, but it seems that the old witch placed a curse on her because the old witch is ready to go. She's old and she's dying and she want to get out of here. And once the curse is fulfilled, or once she breaks the curse, the old witch dies, is what it seems like. The show is not good, bro. It's not good. I won't be watching season 2 if they announce it. And if they do announce season 2, shame on you.
Yeah, this one got weird apparently, huh?
Once Upon a Witch's death. She should have died sooner.
I am setting that to my dropped list because I had it on paused, and I don't think I'm gonna ever get to it.
Don't get to it. What is the rating on this show? Let me see.
I can tell you right now because I'm in the list still.
It's a 71%.
Ain't no way. I'm about to set it back as paused.
It's got recommendations like Violet Evergarden. There's no way.
Get out of here.
There's no, bro. I'm telling you,
Violet Evergarden is one of the best shows I've ever watched.
If you just happen to watch this and you tell me I'm crazy, I'd take it. But I'm telling you, this show is not good.
No, I gotta watch it now. I gotta, because I know you. I know you, and I know you're right. It's probably poop, but I gotta see why Crystal would give it a set. Sorry, Crystal, to attack you and put you on blast like this, but what? It's.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Meg Raspberry is a bad character. Faust is great. Fine Cavendish, she's okay. Sophie is great, and her reasons are great. Eldora, the little bit you see her, great. Inori is the old witch who looks like she's 20, great. Chloe,
so the supporting cast is great.
Yeah, Chloe, she's cool. And then the two little animal characters they got here, y'all animals, y'all okay. It's literally just Meg I don't like. But I feel like she strongly brings the show down. She's not,
because you spend most of your time with her.
She doesn't seem to actually learn. And that, to me, her character development is not good. And it's like, if I'm spending 12 episodes with you and your development in terms of who you are as a character is trash, like I'm actually interested in like the world is interesting even. You know what I mean? Like the world is interesting, but I'm so disconnected from this character that it hurts.
That's huge.
It hurts.
And that's what we talk about all the time. If you can't connect with those characters, it shows bad, essentially. The fact that the supporting cast is as good as they are then is interesting.
I'm telling you, like the old lady is I'm just like, yo, what is she doing? What is she about? She's so like clear-headed and she's not weird and stupid. You know what I mean? She's not like, you know how some old lady characters, they be like a little too touchy and like they make them seem like the old grandma for real. Mm-hmm. And it's like, she's not like that for real. She's actually a reasonable, sound character. She is the witch that she presides to be. All the characters seem to demonstrate themselves in a manner in which like they hold this like, and you know what it is? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Every character, even the youngest character, they hold themselves as if they have a level of respect and confidence. And then you have Meg Raspberry who acts like a child. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I should have looked at the tags for it because maybe it is one of those, you know, shonen or the one that's aimed towards young girls. Maybe that's why, and it just feels so disjointed because of that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It doesn't say which it doesn't have that tag.
I'm sorry, Crystal, it's not good. And Crystal, you can say it's good. If you said it's good, I hate it.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
I'm gonna probably give it like 2 or 3 episodes just to see. But I know I know I believe you. That's what I know.
It's going in the X-Arm pile.
Damn.
I'm telling you.
That's real bad. I don't even know if I want to waste my time there.
You got to give it your own shot.
Yeah.
Because and that's the thing, is I actually don't think the first 3 episodes were bad. That's the issue. I feel like it low key kind of played me once you get past that point.
It lulls you into a false sense of security. It's
like, hey, we fulfilled the 3 episode rule. Now you stuck with us.
Now you here.
It's like, not really. But I got stuck.
All right, let's talk about the upcoming schedule. So the upcoming schedule, we got a couple of shows on our list that's going to be airing soon. And let me know if this is a bit different. So we got, I believe it's, so Hell Teacher, that airs in, by the time you're hearing this, it should be airing now. Mm-hmm. We got Down to Dawn season 2 this week. The Water Magician this week. Secrets of a Silent Witch this week, which is a lot of our listeners' sleepers. Let's see here. The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses this week. Yes, Roscoe Does Not Dream of a Santa Claus this week. Let me get the English title for this one. A Bouquet for an Ugly Girl. April Showers Bring May Flowers airs this week. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Betrothed to My Sister's Ex this week. Cleva Test this week. New Saga this week, which I'm actually looking forward to a lot. Is your sleeper this week too?
Yeah, I believe it will release on Sunday. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, it'll release on Sunday.
Yep, which was
July 6th.
No, which was your sleeper again? So
that is Apocalypse Bringer Minogra.
Yeah, Apocalypse Bringer. Caller of the Night this week. Jesus. Yeah, My Dress Up Darling this week. Yes, Lord. Scooped Up by Next Rank Adventurer this week.
Got you, Akuda.
Yep, got you, Akuda this week. This Virgin Punk Clockwork Girl was apparently a one-off. So I want to remove that from my list. One time. One-offs are cool and all, but we got other shit to do.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it this week. I don't see, is Kaiju number 8 this week? I don't even see that on my list anymore.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, Kaiju number 8 is in 19 days, 9 hours, and 19 minutes from right now that we're talking.
Holy shit, we got a while for that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only half. That's only half of the season start. A little less than half, actually.
Yeah, I got detectives these days are crazy. Hell Teacher, I got a lot of stuff, but I'm probably gonna end up dropping a ton of this.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
As always, we're gonna give it the 3-episode rule, and then we're gonna do cut week, etc., etc. I'm excited. I'm excited though.
Yeah, I think the slice of life this season is gonna go crazy. Actually,
really, I'm actually thinking that. Ironic that you say that, because I'm actually thinking the action shit is gonna go crazy this season.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a decent amount of action.
So
I'm looking
much.
at Betrothed to My Sister's Ex.
That's gonna probably hit though.
Obviously, My Dress Up Darling.
Yep.
The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I feel like there's a couple that are just gonna be like actually really good.
So the Flagrant Flower with Dignity. Shout out to TCB letting us know that it's a Netflix joint, unfortunately. So it's not going to air here until like July 6th or something like that. It's going to be delayed for here. But in Japan, it's going to air in 5 days, unfortunately, which is me and Crystal's sleeper. So we'll figure out how that's going to work.
We'll drop a link. There's ways.
I guess I could do that too, huh? Watch it on sites that shall not be named. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So let's get to know Mike Check Waifu. And then maybe spoil some Summer Pockets, I guess.
Apothecary Diaries.
Apothecary Diaries, Summer Pockets. And sort of a Demon Hunter.
Okay.
It's my turn to roll the random number generator.
No, I'm rolling the random number generator.
Tell's rolling the random number generator.
Number 5.
Do you prefer subbed or dubbed anime?
I prefer anime that I can watch and not get lost with all the details. I'm going to say, I mean, ultimately, it don't really make a difference to me, bro.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page there. It don't matter. If you're terrible dubbed, then I'm going to watch it subbed. If you're dubbed and subbed come out at the same time, I'm gonna do dubbed. But again, you have to be really horrible, i.e., Old Country Bumpkin, for me to turn off the dub to turn on the sub. Essentially, the whole sub to dub debate don't exist with us anymore, or shouldn't exist in anime. Period. Because these voice actors are extremely talented now. They're not like early 2000s where it was people cashing in to check, just reading lines. It's a lot different now. So, yeah. And I honestly, and I'm gonna say it. It's definitely not true, but I'm gonna say it. And I blame ReZero for turning up the dubbed space. It's not true, but holy shit, that dub is incredible.
Amazing.
God, it just makes me think of that time where you sent me that scene where you was talking to the witches and subbed, and then I turned it on dubbed, and it was just as fucking good. I'm like, no shot. Okay, I digress.
Just as good. I don't know. I don't know if it was just as good. It might have been better.
It was so good. It was so.
I feel like people in Japan had to watch it in English. They was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing,
bruh." I cried, man. I cried. All right, let's take this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna spoil Apothecary Diaries first. Then we're going to slide into Summer Pockets, and then after that, no, let's slide into Demon Sword one, and then Summer Pockets. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to episode 307 of Mic Check Waifu. I was supposed to mention this at the beginning, but in the show notes, in the description of this video, will be the YouTube link to our gaming podcast. So make sure you go subscribe to that. We would greatly appreciate it. It's a new YouTube, so subscribe to us there. Means a lot. Now, let's get into the spoilers of Apothecary Diaries, episode 23 out of 24. Apothecary Diaries will probably hit the top 10 somehow. I gotta fit it in there somewhere. It's just
for sure.
It's just that good, honestly. It's really. I don't even know where it would go now because my top 10 is kind of.
Yeah, for those of you who have already seen my top 100, Apothecary Diaries is already listed at number 4. It might change. It might go up one more step at least.
So what you think about my theory? Did you see my theory in the Discord forum?
I didn't, bro. Let me check that out. Let me see what you're talking about.
Sorry if it's all word. I'll be typing fast because I'll be typing as I'm watching.
Mm-hmm. Disjointed. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2 things. Didn't see any blood.
Right.
And I remember that they shot her in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly where Mama put the hairpin.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought, for those of you that didn't read our Discord forum, which you should join our Discord so you can be privy to information like this.
Exactly.
Is that they killed Susui, but they didn't kill her. They shot her in the chest. That hairpin blocked it. She's still alive and was found by whoever that guy was.
Right.
That's our idea. So that's my theory. But however, I digress. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it makes sense though. And I did see that before I watched the episode. And when I saw that point, I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. I think it makes perfect sense. And I say it makes perfect sense because exactly what when she gets shot, you see it pierces the shirt and there's no blood. And they did not skimp on showing blood previous to that.
Nowhere.
So why would they all of a sudden show no blood?
Mm-hmm.
for that to be the scenario. And then they also say this is the last I've ever seen of Lao Lan. Now, they rounded up people that were killed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I believe she said that all of those who died were going to be burned. They weren't going to get burials.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't just leave her there to not be buried.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even put the words in my head together at that point. Yeah, you're right. She's alive.
Yeah, but she has to be.
So that begs the question then, Tel. Why would she be alive, and why would the author or creator need to keep her alive? What would be the reason?
I'm not. So
she has no significance. Maybe it's just good to know that she's alive. And that's it. That could just be it, huh?
It could just be the fact that we don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because she could still be dead. She could have died from the fall. You know, for all we know. But I think that the mystery being there is important. But I also think it's more about the connection of her to Mao Mao.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Mao Mao is huge. Is huge for Lord Shinji. So her being alive would give Mao Mao a level of happiness or reprieve, so to speak, in the situation that she feels. And that would also, you know, inadvertently bring Shinji a level of happiness as well, right?
Yeah.
Lord Shinji, Master Shinji. And
wait, who is that?
Is his name not Master Shinji?
Jinshi,
sorry,
okay,
I'm saying Shinji. Yes. Master Jinshi. I'm
Sujin family or whatever.
Yeah. But Master Jinshi. I think that is the benefit there. But no, I don't. With where the show has left it, I don't see a reason for her to remain in the story.
Yeah, same.
Unless she's some way going to be a help to Mao Mao. Like Mao Mao saved her life, so now she has a reason to necessarily help her, or if for whatever in the future they try and take Jinshi, Mao Mao finds a way and they come across each other. But I don't see a real reason otherwise to bring her back as any other reason to maintain the story.
Yeah. True. And they don't need to. They can just have it the fact that she's alive, and that's enough for me. To be honest, I'm good with that. Like, I think keeping her alive was and the send off in itself was essentially beautiful. So well done with the way she broke it down for her mother and Jinshi, and the way Jinshi let her do what she needed to do. The cut on his face, that's a big deal. That's a bigger deal than we even think, because that cut on his face is like, it's going to be a scar, a reminder, and it's going to unbeautify him, essentially.
Kind of. And I only say kind of because of Mao Mao, right? Like, maybe the scar will have some small semblance of it being there, but I do agree with, like, it's going to de-beautify him, right?
Yep.
But I think that the semblance of the scar, it could be one of two things. Is like you said, it could be a permanent scar where it will always be a remembrance. But it could also be just the fact that, having gone through everything that her mother went through, this is the only scar on the entirety of the empire that they were able to leave. Mm-hmm. And I think I personally felt like that was a semblance. If they write the scar into the permanent story, I think that's dope as an overarching thing. But I feel like Mao Mao is going to be specifically giving him something to cover up the scar while poking fun at the fact that, you know, he has that scar now or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, that's just a symbol of them. Like you said, it's a symbol of them doing something, leaving their mark on the empire, and Jinshi let it happen, which then got the guy who let that happen be punished. Like, all that is such a big deal in this traditional Chinese empire lore that it is it's kind of it's scary because it's almost for lack of a better term, North Korean-esque. Like, because if
somebody should be dying for that.
Exactly right. Like if you let something happen to the emperor or you know the prince or whatever the situation is, there's punishment to be dealt down families and generations and shit like that. That's just how they roll. But I digress. I say all that to say the rap was beautiful. Like the whole culmination of that whole clan and everything that they did, and the way Lao Lan or Susui broke it down was wonderful. And albeit, even though I predicted that's who she was, it still didn't take away from the surprise and the intrigue of the story's mystery, which not a lot of shows can do right. Man. You know, like even if it's predictable, it's still unpredictable. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's so beautiful, man, and it's so beautifully done. I wish we had more Mao Mao this episode, but I get why we didn't, because this is all about the rap of that. That's why I need to know what this next episode is.
But imagine this. Hear me out. In a world where there are shows where the main character is garbage, but the supporting cast is amazing, there is also a world that presides right now. It is called Apothe-MF-Cary Diaries, where the main character is amazing, but they also write side characters that, guess what? When you take the main character out of it, are still amazing.
Still able to carry.
Oh my God. And like you said, I'm just gonna say this and you say whatever you want. I understand that you wanted more Mao Mao, but I was so enthralled and pulled into what was happening that I didn't even realize. I wasn't even thinking about Mao Mao. Like I'm thinking, my mindset is that Mao Mao is present, so to speak, right? Like all of this is revolving around Mao Mao. So the essence of her character is still there in my head. So I'm not even worried about the fact that Mao Mao is not there. But we didn't get any Mao Mao until the very end, and I'm like, I ain't need it because this was so well written, so well put together. It was ridiculous.
It's a testament. It's my favorite thing in the world. My favorite line, I guess, in the world. And this is about to seem as simple as it can be. My favorite line is 2 things can be true. That line is so powerful. You know how people always say, but that. 2 things are allowed to be true at the same time. And a lot of people forget that. Just because the side characters are great, that means the main character it has to be. That doesn't mean the main character has to be poop. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a fantastic cast in its entirety. The fact that you didn't even think about the fact that we didn't have Mao Mao the entire episode until the very end is a testament to show how good the writing and the characters are, on top of the whole world building and etc. Hopefully the last episode isn't just a recap episode. I don't think it is, because there's so much more they need to discuss after this, right?
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be a recap. I just think that they don't want to show us exactly what's to come.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I love that. I love that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
What a perfect show. It doesn't have the accolades from us. I mean, it does. Obviously, we're always talking about it. We're always gushing of it. But the actual badge of Mic Check Waifu's Anime of the Year, because of the fucking time it came out. It just so happened to be the same exact time as Frieren. And
crazy.
And you cannot take away from Frieren, but you can't take away from Apothecary Diaries. Frieren is just that much. It's just that good. So it's insane. It's insane thought. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the timestamp of this too for Rob Stone, because he said you always gotta push past the spoiler. So I'm gonna put a timestamp of when we end this conversation, which is now. Alrighty, moving on. What did I say we was gonna do? Send the notes.
Sword of the Demon Hunter.
Sword of the Demon Hunter. Yes. This show is also fantastic. Again, not Apothecary Diaries, great, but it is very good. It's been one of those shows. Unfortunately, it will be talked about way more. And I don't know, maybe it is talked about, and I just don't know because I'm not on Twitter or whatever. But this show has been one of the big surprises this season as to how consistently good it's been. Honestly, Like, I don't think I've sat there and watched like, oh, this was a bad episode. I don't have one. I just don't.
So let me stop you there. Let me just give me a second.
Please do.
There are no bad episodes yet.
That's what I'm saying. Not yet.
So it's hard to understand why the show is not really being talked about. And
high dive, brother.
Maybe we gotta do it right. Maybe we gotta do a slightly better job of talking about it. Because it's not bad. And even with what we got in this episode, it's a callback. Goodness.
Yeah.
And the ending was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Even in death, I was about to say it's spoilers, but it's just a spoiler talk. Even in death, you still haunt me. Like, man. It's just, it's just unbelievable how I love the fact that it leans into the lore of itself, right? Like, you know, the spirituality of it all, and the, you know, I just love how it leans into it, and it just feels right, man. It feels so right. I love it so much, man. I love it so much. Important piece. So the spraying that was inflicted, I'm going to assume, and it's safe to assume, that it was inflicted with her blood, which is the blonde demon's blood, which turned other people into demons, which was also made him having to kill, what's her name? Natua? Her father. I think that's her name, right? Let's see. Of course, they don't have her on the front page of the character sheet.
All right.
There's so many characters in the show. Was it Gentosho?
Natsu.
Yeah, that's who it is. For her to have to kill her father, or for him to have to kill her father, which in turn was his father, because that was the old, which you don't realize it until afterwards, because the problem, I will say the one problem with the show is the older characters all look the same because of the era that it takes place, and they all have the same haircuts. It was hard to tell that he was the father of Genta too. But I mean, it was implied heavily, like I think the third or fourth episode or something like that, but I digress. The fact that he had to kill him was a fucking just a bittersweet sadness, man. Because he was a piece of shit to Genta and Suzune, which led to them being in the situation that they're in now in the first place. But we also learned the fact that his mom was hit up by a half demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so much.
Yeah.
That came out this episode that was like massive. Just including the fact that that's why Suzune was hated. Because she was basically the spawn of not only a half demon, but of somebody who essentially took advantage of his mom.
Yeah, and what is crazy about it is I'm thinking about how they do the back and forth between the future. Right. Oh yeah, that too. And I do think that what you said is true. I think that, and I think of it more now, that like this just leans more into that idea that you were saying, that the world in the future becomes what it is after he's basically slain all the demons. Oh, is that where I went? Like, yeah, you said basically the world. Oh yeah. Like okay. Like he's slaying all the demons, so like that's why you don't see them like you would have in the past before. Right. The reason why people don't believe in demons anymore, because he was he's taking them all out for the most part. That's why they're forgetting who shrine this is, because these figures aren't as important anymore, because he's nullified the reason to even have the shrines, because he's gotten rid of all the demons. Right. But it just also shows how impactful that moment was from episode 1 all the way to now. And even to see that his parents are involved, his actual parents are involved, to a point to where that's where we end up. His life has been engulfed by this, and this is what the outcome is. Yeah. And even it is Chitose, or is it Hatu? Is her name Hatu? The other demon, the demon little girl. The way she kind of brings him back to like this
the sense of within himself, I guess would be what I'm trying to say, with the whole flower analogy that she gives him. And it feels so sweet, man. It's so sad. I hope that she makes it through time with him and not anything happens to her. You know, she can get older or she can stop aging or whatever the case may be. I don't know. She's just been so sweet. Or is it Ofu? It looks like Ofu. I can't tell. Again, they all have the same kind of character design.
That's sad. Because you're right.
You can't.
Maybe same hair color, same design, just different. Is it yukata?
Yep.
Yukata.
Yep. So, but yeah, I just love that the show has been where this direction the show has been going. I'm hoping that we get more into like the conflict between him and his sister. Like, I hope they actually meet up soon to see what they have to say to each other after all this time or however much time has passed.
Yeah, but how many episodes do we have left? Well, we don't quite know. Is it gonna be 24?
Yeah, it said 24 previous. I don't know why it's gone now, but
yeah. So I mean, we got time. They're gonna drag it out a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's so easy to watch. Minus it being on High Dive, but it's so easy to watch as a show, and it's like for real. I'm enjoying it a lot, man. It's been a great surprise.
Agreed, bro.
All right, let's move on to the last, but certainly not least. Summer Pockets.
Is this your favorite female character so far?
No, it's still the girl with the chest, but she's very close. She's a great character. Actually, no, because I still loved Sugami.
Mm-hmm.
She was just a sweetheart. To know that we have 26 is interesting. There's still so much more story to tell.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna make us cry on this, bro.
I mean, I have already probably at the end of every story,
back to back.
Yeah, but again, I mentioned this before. I love the way they're telling this story because again, it's based off of a visual novel, so it's going back in time to a certain point in time to then retell the story, but him branching off into different directions with the people who he's dealing with in that particular day and how much further that conversation goes. So it's all at the same time, same day, just reflected differently, which I think is so fucking cool. I always find that kind of traversal so creative and so neat, but it also establishes the fact that there's more to this world than meets the eye. Autobots are simple. But it really is like it's so much more with this butterfly effect that we are slowly getting into more. Like for instance, let me go find that character's name. It's with Yumi. They're so like we gotta figure out what's going on with Yumi. Yumi has a major part within the overall with the time dilation thing that's going on. So we don't know nothing about that yet, but I got a feeling that that's coming. And then we got more information on the butterflies with this particular storyline. So it's going to become even deeper than that. But I love the way it's going, man. What do you think is going on with her sister, though? That is my major big question. And I have no idea. Normally I can gut check it. I have no fucking clue. Like, is she just trapped in the in-between because of what? Like,
so, and here's my thing is this, right? I do think that, so I think the butterflies have this semblance of like you said, stuck in the in-between. But I think, and this is, like I said, this is my personal opinion. I think that all of their stories are more tied to him being stuck.
Yes. Okay.
And that
I love that.
I know I think we might have talked about this before, but it's like these are people visiting him. But I think that the story is tied to him being stuck.
Yes, because we mentioned that.
And I do think that there are certain people who are either stuck like him or are in a similar way to him, right? Because I think the first story we got, I feel like that girl was actually a person who was stuck like him.
Yes, Tell. Yeah, because I remember I mentioned something about him being like unconscious or something from a swimming accident. That's what I think happened.
Right. And I do think that like So some of these characters are people who are like actually just visiting him and sharing and like remembering parts of his life. And that's why he's never leaving this island, so to speak, but others are, right? So like, I think like that first story, the girl was stuck like him, but she is no longer stuck. And then you get this story right here with like the butterfly that can somewhat wake people up. So it's like, okay, is he stuck? Is he wake, or that's what I'm thinking. And I think that the in between is the idea that like she could be in a place where she's like on the verge of waking up, and that's why it seems in between to us in watching the story. Yes, because he's stuck.
That's fun.
But the thing is that, like you said, the way that they tell the story and intertwine these characters, it gets emotionally sticky.
No shit. That's big true.
Yeah, and it's like it's the whimsical nature of so many of the characters that just kind of feel like you get this, what is it, like you don't have a choice but to love them. All of them, man. All of them, yeah. They all have this like
uniqueness. Is that some
around there? They are definitely unique.
Yeah,
but it's almost like this level of like, you have a level of optimism for them, is what it is.
Hope.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, hope and optimism.
That's big.
And that's what I'm trying to like.
That's big, Joe. You're right.
That's what gets you to tearing up every time.
Every time.
At least for me.
Me too.
That's what gets me tearing up. I get this level of optimism. I'm like, man, I hope this ends well. And then it's not like it had bad endings, but they never good.
No, it's the Clannad effect essentially, because it's a good ending, but the fucking journey hurts so bad because it's an emotional investment that just feels heavy. It's all so painful, but it's so good.
And then they introduce a new story, and you got to deal with that for another 2 to 3 episodes until you done.
And I'm not upset about the story jumping.
No, that's because that's what this story is, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think makes it more interesting, is that like you get the idea that these stories are different analogies is how I would put it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about like so like when the bracelet broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that is that analogy or symbolism for like you said, she's stuck in like an in-between, or could that be the breaking of the in-between? Is that in-between done? And what does that mean? So it's like they give you this symbolism.
Yes.
And they build on it in the next coming episodes. And then you'll get your ending. And that's what just kicks me in the chest every time. Time. I don't.
So looking at
I don't know what to say.
looking at the sheet, because I'm with you 100%. Looking at the sheet, which one of the girls would you say would be the girl? Right, like there's a canon person in every visual novel, at least the ones that I've played. There's always a canon person, but you could choose her, you could choose her, you could choose her, you could choose her. Who do you think is the canon person?
Oh yeah, for sure. Kamome Kushima.
That's what I want it to be.
Yeah. I say that. Well, no, I say that because she's the one that we got that first, and I'm not gonna say the first initial episode with, but remember, she was the one that we had the most time with in the beginning.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that story, like, you know, with the case and everything, like that was just like a lot, bro. And I feel like that's why I want to be the canon girl, but
same. She's the best girl. I think it's Shiori, right? Shiroha.
Yeah. I feel like it ends up being Shiroha for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the character list, obviously it says main.
I didn't think about that.
But,
spoiler.
Right. But and then it says Kamome Kushima supporting.
She was the fucking best, bro. But that could change, you know. That could Shiroha could have a crazy story that's really sweet and Ayo.
Yeah, I was looking at her too, and I was like,
also
maybe
been great.
Yeah, I wanted to be Kamome Kishima.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, me too. Me and you on the same page there. You were right. We spent the most time with her. She was the sweetest. She was the most fun, and her story was probably the saddest still.
Yeah, and it's also the personality was just the story mixed with the personality. Like it's not, and it's not to say that they had bad personalities outside of her, but it's like the story and the personality just felt on point.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we got a lot more time. 26 episodes is quite a bit, which I'm excited about. I swear it said 13 though, which is crazy. Just a few
lies,
right? Like a few days ago, actually, it said 13 because I made sure I paid close attention to it, but I digress. I'm looking forward to more. But I'm at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Telly on all social media.
You can follow us at youtube.com/@MikeCheckWaifu and subscribe to our gaming podcast coming soon. youtube.com/@respect RESPEC games. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And as always, Mike check.
Put some respect on my name.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?